pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll say good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming. The agenda is, it looks long, but it's not long. It's actually, shouldn't be too long of a meeting tonight, and a lot of it is just information sharing. So, can we go roll call, please? You do a roll call, or we do a roll call?
I can do it. So,
You need a pad?
Everybody's here.
everyone's here. Jason?
Here.
Jim?
Yes.
Mark? Mike?
Yes.
Joey?
Yep.
I'm here too.
seats off the
We're all here?
Okay,
Everyone but Rebecca?
there is not gonna be a financial report, supervisor financial report. Mike is coming back, tomorrow to hopefully we'll close out all outstanding issues that, and they're not major issues, they're just certain items are not put into certain, categories where they should be. So he's coming back tomorrow. He gave Brooke a bunch of homework to do 2 weeks ago. And so he's coming back tomorrow, and we think tomorrow will be the final day where everything gets put back in the right place, and he walks away happy as one of our people that oversees our books. I don't have anybody addressing the board tonight, so we'll move right into public comment on any non-agenda items anybody wants to bring up this evening.
Skipped one, Joe. You gotta make a motion for them.
Motion to accept the minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thanks for catching me on that. So I need a motion to accept the minutes from the March 4th, 25 regular monthly board meeting.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to accept the minutes from March 4th, 2025, regular monthly board meeting.
Did that say 26?
26.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you. Another one.
Good catch. I don't wanna go back to 25.
Thank you. All in favor?
Oh, I need a second.
Somebody want to second that?
I did.
Tim did.
Oh, sorry. Didn't hear you, Joe. Sorry.
All in favor?
Yeah.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Okay, resolutions. I do need a resolution to approve the February, March bills, and I'll read them off to you. So the general fund townwide is $19,786.03. The highway fund is $27,706.23. The town hall highway garage is $270,533.83. Lime Sewer District is $26,041.84. Dannemore Sewer District number 2 is $235.87. The Lime Mountain Water District is $962.28. And the Dannemore Water District number 2 is $110. Chattagay Lakes water level, $5,255.84, and Ledger's Corners Water District is $2,177.30, and that brings us to a grand total of $352,809.22. I need a motion to accept those bills into record.
I'll make a motion February and March 2026 bills for $352,809.22.
Need a second, please.
I'll second.
All in favor? Opposed?
Roll call.
Oh, thank you.
Mike.
Jason,
Yes.
you want to do it or we do
Go ahead.
it? Deb?
Yes.
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 Joey, yes. Okay.
Everybody's yes.
Yes. Okay, I got next one on the list is motion to approve MG Engineering Services to finalize our grant paperwork for the comprehensive plan. Let me give you a little insight on this. MG Engineering is our contractor to basically help us with the grant application process that ends at the end of July, and we don't find out until October if we get the grant or not. But the grant has changed for 2026. It's not like it was for the last 10 years. It's extremely complicated. Mike and I and Becky thought we could figure it out. We couldn't, and we got maybe 10 pages done, and then from there it changed dramatically, where you really need someone that understands this grant paperwork process. So I talked to Jackie and I said, listen, we got like a third of it done already. Is there any way you can give us a discount? She said, yes, we'll give you a discount. So if you look at what the original cost was, the cost for the grant for us for this town is $5,000. The grant the typical grant fee is anywhere from $6,000 to $8,000. So they did give us a discount, for what we had done early on, so what happens next, that they basically take it over from us. They'll just grab the grant, they'll get one of their experts on it, we'll help them with it too, so we can get a learning event from it. But, they're the experts, so they'll be the expert, and we'll be looking over the shoulder to basically understand just how these things work, so that's what it's all about. So if I can get a motion, if there's any other questions about this before I ask for a motion to pay this? And, and I was talking to Debbie came in earlier this morning, I said, what do you think of the price for $5,000? And Debbie said, that's pretty damn cheap,
It is.
so. Any
It looks
questions?
like there's a couple of dates for review, I mean, not specific dates, but looks like there's some review dates that we can put input or take stuff out, whatever they're doing,
Yeah,
before they finalize it.
yeah. So if there's not any other questions for me pertaining to this, motion, can I get a motion to approve the $5,000 fee to MJ Engineering?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Debbie,
I'll
second.
second it.
Jason,
Second by
second.
Jason.
Yep, roll call. Jim,
Yes.
Jason,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes,
me, yes. Joey?
Yep.
I'll make it easy on you.
Okay, we're gonna move to old business. I'm gonna give you an update on the Lime Mountain wastewater treatment plant, project. It's coming along better than what it did, about a month and a half ago. We're getting to the tail end of the project. We're thinking that's gonna get wrapped up by sometime, late May, early June of this year. Originally it was forecasted end of the year. But the biggest thing that I wanna bring to your attention tonight is that, I've been very open about the issues that's happening at that site, and we had a minimum of a 500-gallon kerosene spill on that site. The town, Pat, AES Northeast, believes the fault of that spill is solely on J.W. Danforth. And some of the reasons behind it is that we've never had a spill at that site. Pat's been there 7 years. He's always operated this one pump in a manual closed position. If he needs the pump on, he turns the pump on and opens a valve to let the pump cycle. How that spill actually was created, it was a new pump was put in place on the 24th. The pump was left in the energized state with the valve left in an open state. And over the weekend, somehow it cycled. They don't know how. We don't know how. Something made that cycle, and it puked at least 500 gallons of kerosene onto the ground. So, Jay, I got called to it. Looked at the site. We did all we could to pig mat everything we could. I mean, there's still 1.5 foot of frost on top of the ground. And we called Danforth, and I gotta give Danforth credit, they came right up with 2 or 3 guys and they started picking up the stuff. But all said and done, DEC was involved, they came right down on a Monday to look at it. But as I fast forward to my conversation where we're at, I told Danforth that they were responsible for the fill, and they disagreed. I said, then we'll battle it out with our insurance companies and our attorneys. And so I got Danforth's complete packet, which we're allowed to have. It goes through and tells everything what they did, where the material went, where it got burnt, all the pictures and everything. It's 47 pages, so I can pass this around to the board members. Or if you really you want your own packet, I'll print you off a packet so you can read it, because there's a lot of information in here. But all said and done, the total cost that they want to charge to the project itself, is $121,781.67. So, I said no. I already called AES Northeast, told them no, it's not up to us to write the letter to Danforth, it's up to AES Northeast to write the letter to Danforth. They wrote the letter saying, based on certain criteria on how the situation happened and the parameters on how a grant is put in place and how money is put back to pay for the grant and all the stuff that happens in between, you just can't throw, because you had a fault of your own on installing an end cropper pump and left the valve on without talking to our operator. They said they are not going to apply their $121,000 to the contract. So then I got this you know, I got this in the mail, which we were waiting for it to happen, but just the remediation alone for MF Environmental on the military turnpike, just that cost them to come up and assess the site, clean up the site, take samples of the site, take the material off the site, and get rid of the site, or get rid of the material on the site, was $87,000 alone. So, I just wanna let you know that, Debbie and I actually were on conversation with, Bryce, what's his last name, remember his last name? Hanson. He's a Northern Insuring, he's one of our insurance carriers that holds, policies for us. So they now are involved with it. I sent this entire packet to them. The other, group that I have, one group that used to be, Sid Spear, they now have this packet as well. I've already contacted our attorney, Matt Favreau. He said, listen, let the insurance company try to fight it out. And if it gets to the point where their attorneys try to get involved, he said, let me get involved then, and we'll work together and concurrently with everybody else. So that's where the process is. And the other thing that's interesting in this update I have for you is that Danforth had in their contract an environmental rider policy. So we think our insurance company is going to go after that rider policy, saying, listen, you already got a policy in there. Use your own insurance to pay for it. Don't come after us for it. So that's where we're at with the whole thing. But again, board members, if you want this, read it. There's a lot of good reading here about, you know, the cost and what they did and the findings and and how they went through and treated everything. It's definitely we'll make it available to you if you want to see it. But it's
I'm not familiar
47
with the area,
pages.
nor probably anybody else here. Now, you said there's a kerosene tank, I take it, for what purpose?
So let me go a little deeper in that, and I'll tell you. So we have our generators run the kerosene runs off. That feeds our generator in case there's a power outage.
Okay, I'm
But
just
it
wondering
also
why.
fuels a furnace that heats the buildings.
Okay,
The last time that was filled up was August of 2024. It's a 900-gallon tank,
okay,
and when MX came to fill it, the first fill was 521 gallons, and the second fill was almost 140 gallons. So we sent that invoice to Danforth saying, because of this bill, you owe us back to fill that tank back up, and that was sent certified receipt. But we've yet to hear from them on what they want to do with that cost. So that'll be a legal battle too.
but this pump, where does this pump come involved?
So the pump sits right inside next to the generator, right in the bottom, right in the front. We got pictures of it and how it was left in an open state. And Pat basically says, I've never left it in an open state
The
ever.
pump is to pump the fuel from the tank to the generator.
Yeah, now, to your point, so I know where you're going with this, Frank. So what Danforth said is that because that pump cycle, you have process controls that are failing downstream. I said, okay, but there was nothing put in the update of the project, and I don't know, because we didn't know it, to fix those process controls that were downstream. All Pat did is that when he needs to fill the reservoir tank for the generator, it's only like maybe 100 gallons. He just opens the valve, turns the pump on when it's filled, closes the valve, turns the pump off. They had the pump on a live state, open valve, and either it called for something or whatever, we don't know, but it didn't. When it puked from outside the tank, and then also from the generator. So there was the overflow. There should have been an overflow that sent out a shutdown. It didn't work, but we don't know if that overflow is even part of the upgrade. There's a lot of things that were in it. That's why Pat says I always run it, and as a safeguard for me, I run it in a off closed position.
Yeah, it's without a doubt. Especially if your reservoir tank is full, why would you need that on? The generator would start, and then you'd have time to go and refill your tank.
That's exactly right.
You know, before you would need, yeah, it seems like there was
Yeah.
dropping the ball there.
And they're blaming, Danforth is blaming the process controls are faulty, but Pat said, listen, I don't care if they're faulty or not. I've been here 7 years. I've never had a problem with a spill. So,
It's supposed to automatically refill that tank.
yeah.
when the generator starts, it gets so low.
Yeah, it gets to a low level limit, it purges, comes on, it gets to that high level limit, then it shuts off. But Pat says, I never trusted it. So we don't know, we don't know if that was part of the upgrade, we're trying to look. AES Northeast says, I don't think it was. It was not identified as an upgrade process. So, that's
So
where
they
we're at.
shouldn't have touched it.
What's that?
So they shouldn't have touched it if it made the upgrade, right?
That's right. Well, the other thing too is that one of the things we've always told the contractors, if you have any doubt on anything you're working on, please get with the operator to verify where you want whatever you're working on at what state you want it on.
Correct.
He changed the pump, he left it on, and he walked out the door and never verified what Pat on that pump.
He hadn't even told Pat he was doing it. Pat wasn't even aware they were there that day.
Right. That's something there should have been communication on.
Oh, there's no doubt about it.
Yeah, that we're changing the pump today, yada, on the whole.
Yeah. So it's a mess.
I'm just confused on what exactly going on. I know that there was a spill there, but I'm just trying to figure out how this,
Yeah.
what valve, what pump, why we're pumping fuel from one place to another. And
Yeah. So I think, and I don't think you'll see this resolved in the next 3 to 6 months. I'm gonna tell you right now, I think it's gonna go out there for a while. But that's why we pay insurance companies to do what they do for us, and that's why we have attorneys that do what they do for us. So we feel we're in no fault. AES backs us up that we're in no fault. So when you have the general contractor or the overseeing contractor of the entire process saying, this is not the town's problem, it's your problem, Danforth, you need to
Right.
man up and take care of it.
Especially if it wasn't part of the project.
Right. So, update on that. The book's closed out. Again, Mike's coming tomorrow to hopefully get it all done, and we'll be good for that issue. Boiler issue. As you know, we've had a ton of issues with our boiler. A lot of issues. I can't tell you how many times Mark, myself, the 2 guys in the shop have tripped that boiler on and off to make it work again. Probably 15, 20, 30 times at minimum, Mark?
Minimum.
And the guys have been very good. They knew how to trip it back and forth. So finally, it got to the point where I had to call Heightstone and said, "Listen, you got to do something with this boiler." I said, "We just can't keep tripping it back and forth. It's not good for the breaker." I said, "You got to fix it." So what they did, they came down, and I'm going to tell you now what their problem what they found. So when the original Fenway what do you want to call it? Fenway communication board failed. They didn't put back the original Fenway communication board. They put back a generic universal board. And when that board got replaced, he didn't really put 2 and 2 together. We didn't think that board was the issue, but when that board got replaced, we started seeing the kickouts. And sometimes it'd go 4 hours, sometimes it'd go all night, sometimes it'd go 2 hours. And it would trip, and then we'd have to come in and trip it. And one time we come in, it was 50 degrees in this entire building. But they finally said, "Listen, let's go back and put in the original Fenway board that came originally with the piece of equipment." So they did that, and we haven't had any problems.
Yeah. It's like Subaru's like Subaru cars.
Yeah, haven't had any problems. Now, the only other thing I will say, that boiler was installed in 2010, and I don't have the tribal knowledge about. My understanding is that boiler was a secondary boiler for the wood boiler. So if the wood boiler shut down, that boiler would pick back up.
No, the opposite.
Is the opposite? So if that ran,
The wood stove was for the shoulder seasons. It was for when you didn't need a lot of heat, just a little bit, and then that boiler is supposed to be the main boiler.
okay. So anyway, 2010, and it's failing. It's it's to the point where even the metal itself, where the inside where the ignition coil is starting to weaken the outside of the boiler, and it's starting to have little pinholes. And then the last pinhole that erupted, it burnt 7 wires. Flame went through, burnt 7 wires, and they spliced them back, and we got it back running again. But they are quoting us a new boiler. That boiler is a TDI. I'm not familiar with TDI, but I asked them if they're going to quote us a boiler, if they could quote us a Will McLean instead of a TDI. So we're going to see where this new boiler is going to be. They think the boiler may be too small for the building and what it's doing. So they're going to actually bring a guy out, and they're going to do an assessment of the entire building and the pull and they're gonna see, if that boiler is too small. It's a 400,000 BTU, boiler, just to let you know the size of it. So, that's where we are with that. But it's working well, it has been working well since, we did that.
Do you need to get more bids on that, or you can just deal with those people?
Well, Highstone is our contractor. I mean, they can actually get more bids. You can ask Highstone, listen, just don't build Will McLean, build TDI and bid other things.
But one contractor, but multiple makes.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, surplus equipment bids, I'll tell you, I'm gonna read you off what we surplused out, and some of the prices, Mark and I felt like, wow, we did pretty well, basically. So, we had 7 bids out, and I'm gonna read off to you on where they went. So we had a 2011 International Max Force dump truck. Only one bid came in for that. We set a minimum bid on it, and it was 15,000. And the person, we don't tell minimum bids, by the way, to let you know, but that person bid 15,000, and that went to Paul Pettershoon. Oh yeah, 2009 GMC Sahara 1500 truck, pretty rough shape. That bid, we only had one bid for that, and the bid was for $100, and that to Chris St. John. We had a Ford 4630 farm tractor. We had 3 bids on that, and this one really surprised us. 3 bids on that. That had a blown head gasket in it, so basically the motor wasn't any good. Chris Sunderland, a farmer, bought that for $9,050. 1988 model 290 Morbark chipper. Chipper was in rough shape. We don't use it anymore. It's been sitting for years, hey Mark?
Yeah.
We had 3 bids on that, and the high bid on that was $3,000, and that was, Jeff Ryan got that. We're surprised we didn't get any bids on our 2018 15-foot Tenco dump box or our 2018 14-foot Tenco sander. So we are gonna put that on a equipment auction site. And then we also have 2 Gardner Denver 10 horsepower motors with vacuum pumps. We didn't know those were worth till I did a little homework on them today, and minimum for one is $500 up to $1,500, and I had a call today from Windovers that wanted both of them for $100, and I said no. So the total cost of that surplus, which we're quite surprised, we got back from the town $27,150. So questions on that? Good.
Where are we putting that money?
That'll go general fund.
General fund or no, go back?
No.
No, that'll go general fund.
Oh, yeah. Anything the town sells has to go into general fund.
Okay, we just have-
Yeah, we
What, that stuff's gone already, Joey?
we talked about what we,
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, it's still
They
excess.
came and picked up the tractor today.
No, well, the only thing I say is like, because we had this issue with our old truck we got rid of, it still said pound a day in the morning, and we got calls that.
Oh, no.
highway guys were over frickin'.
The guy took the stickers off.
I just wanted to make sure, because
Oh, yeah.
I know where it's going.
That was the first thing I said, hey, Mark, make sure that thing got the stickers on it.
Nobody will probably ever see it up there, but I'm just saying, you know, why was the highway guys up in Polanders or wherever they're gonna have it?
But this, I mean, you can call it what you want. I mean, the stuff that's been sitting there, it's not doing anything. It's good money for the town, and the 2 town guys have already been thinking about, can we do something better for the new white truck that we just bought, the 1-ton truck, and started thinking of putting a poly sander box in the back of it, and I think that'd be good. So they've got, they're doing their homework on it. They give me one quote already. It's from Taylor Rental, and just for the sander and the poly box. It's only around about $8,000, so it'd be nice to have that 1-ton dump truck with a sander in the back of it, especially, in winter months. So something the town's thinking about, and I think is actually a good idea. Okay, anything else under old business anybody want to bring up? Okay, new business. I attended the DEC had a meeting in Plattsburgh at the Warren Building. And it was, what it was for is called environmental justice. And board members, you have a little handout in there what environmental justice is, but I went to that meeting, and I was actually disappointed in the meeting. It was widely communicated, and only 22 people showed up for it, which really surprised me. And I didn't even know DEC had a department called Environmental Justice. So what is environmental justice? Basically, they're an outreach program that deals with a lot of different things, environmental issues, small towns that don't have a lot of monetary funds that can get grants for to help improve their infrastructure. It's a whole giant list. Actually, if you go onto the DEC website, just go to New York State DEC, type in environmental justice, and it's a huge giant website. I never knew it was there. And but what was interesting is that the people that did attend it, they really had a lot of things to say about, what are you doing, because we really don't see you out in the public doing anything for the public. So there were some really pointed questions. I raised my hand when it came to road salt. I said, we got a couple issues dealing with our lake. We got road salt, we got milfoil. I said, then we got antiquated camps that have, our old camps that have antiquated sewer systems. And we're worried about those camps if they decide to, rent them out, and there's more people that go in them more than that will overflow the sewer system, and guess where that sewer system's gonna go? It goes into the lake, which feeds the milfoil. So I said, is that something you can help our town with? And they basically said no.
You're here to help, but not here.
So I'm like, yeah, so,
That ain't working.
yeah, you really,
Where's the justice in this?
yeah, where's the justice now? Good point, Debbie. But, they took my notes, and the other thing too, I was able to meet the new commissioner of DEC. It's a very smart lady, very astute, good speaker. But you can tell she's new in her shoes, because she didn't know a lot of stuff that was going on in the state, especially in small town communities like we have. Very evident that she did not know, and very evident that the lady that runs the environmental justice program had no idea what's going on in our neck of the woods, for sure too. They're mainly focused around the city, outskirts of the city areas, and so that was kind of interesting too, to see that they didn't have anything. But they got some pretty pointed questions. We had one lady in front of me. She wanted to shut down Drew Poultry and all dairy farms, because they're polluting her groundwater. They're doing everything. And she had a long dissertation about what her feelings are about dairy farms and poultry farms and everything else. So, and they just shook their head like this. That's all they did. Like this. But anyway, I think it's something for us to learn more about. So I would just, like I said, even to the public, if you want to know more about environmental justice, just go to DEC website, type in environmental justice, and you'll be able to understand more. It's out there. I could go on for another 15, 20 minutes. I'm not. I'm just giving you an overview of basically what it was. But one thing that did catch my attention that they did bring up, I'm trying to get ahead of myself. I'm going to wait. The other thing they brought up is that they do have a road salt webpage. And I went into that road salt webpage, and I don't know how they view on keeping your road safe with salt, and especially in areas where we are with our lake that surrounds a lot of 374 and a lot of our side roads. I don't think they just don't get it yet. I really don't. They just don't get it, because they keep throwing in the word safety, 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 safety. And it's like, I get it, listen, we gotta keep our public safe, but our public's gotta have common sense how to drive on road conditions aren't well. But they're more worried about safety than they are pollution. So it's
If
something
they're so
else.
worried about safety, they should, once it starts snowing, lower the speed limits 10 miles per hour, so people aren't driving like they're on bare roads.
Exactly. Okay.
That would solve it.
Next thing on my agenda is, where am I at here? Oh, so we have a situation that's happening with the village, and I think it's important to understand what's going on there. And I'm gonna call it an injustice, for lack of better words. I think Debbie will shake her head with me, but there was a check written for the library, Dannemora Library, a check for $4,000. And that check, it said, from us, to the Dannemora Library. Town of Dannemora to the Dannemora Library, $4,000. I said, write in a check, Dannemora Library. The village cashed that check. Never gave it to the Dannemora Library.
Rod.
They probably need the money.
So, and so the people that are the overseers of Dannemora Library reached out to us and said, can you help us? Hell yeah, we can help you, no doubt about it. So we've taken the nice road with the village. Brooke has done a wonderful job in crafting some soft and gentler language and saying, hey, can you please look this up? Blah, blah. Yeah, Brooke. And we just get like, yes, we got it, we understand, we'll do this. And then 2 weeks go by, we get no response. And Brooke writes another one with a little more intensity to it. And 2 weeks go by, and yeah, we're gonna look at it, blah, blah, blah. Well, Brooke wrote another one with a lot more intensity to it, and basically saying, you need to let us know ASAP because then we're gonna look at seeking legal counsel. And now we got the response back saying, well, you know, we gotta look at the books, we gotta look to see when that was spent, and we told them, well, this is the date of the check, this is when we know it was cashed, and you just gotta give the town of Dannemora library their money. It's that simple. So they have a meeting, I think, next week, I think, and they're supposed to bring it up and as a
So who signed the check to cash it?
somebody on the town board.
Or who? That's the person that.
Well, it probably was either Megan or the other one.
One of the clerks.
Tab,
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not, it's clearly, you said, made out to the town of Dannemora Library.
It was very clear.
What
Yeah.
business do they have of signing a check
Yeah.
and cashing it? That's the problem.
So anyway, we've been very blunt with them now that we're done playing with this. So we need resolution or we're going to take matters into our own hands.
Yeah.
So.
Is their attorney not our attorney?
no.
Okay.
Okay, I attended New York Associated Towns Zoom meeting, and I'll tell you, Debbie said make sure you get on these Zoom meetings with the New York Associated Towns, and it's unbelievable the information they share in those meetings. I mean, they just go on and on and on about a lot of stuff. Some stuff don't pertain to us, but some stuff is interesting just to listen to what's going on in other communities.
We got that one guy from the city that he likes to talk.
Yeah. But one of the things that brought to my attention, I printed it off, that I didn't know this, but it's something new. It's really a wonderful thing that if this town ever decides to get involved in a town e-newsletter, this is a new Court of Appeals decision that just happened on February 19th, 2026. The Court of Appeals decided on Russell versus Mount Pleasant that holding names and personal email addresses of town residents who subscribe to a town's newsletters are exempt from disclosure under FOIL. That's new. That's pretty big. So that doesn't constitute them being unwarranted to be basically an invasion of personal privacy. So that just got decided on. I think it's a big deal because there's a lot of towns that have e-newsletters, and before that, there must have been an awful fight over this that they could foil those residents' addresses. So this has just got released that our Court of Appeal said, no, you can't do that. So that's,
like unwillingly sending them an email, basically? So it's-
yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, somebody could foil the
Foil
list
my
of
email.
emails.
Yeah, they
and
could
then-
foil all your emails that you sent out.
And then they could send you emails like to sell you things and basically get all the spam.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's actually a good ruling. I just want to bring that up to you because, who knows, down the road, he may have her own newsletter, so this is good information to share. Next item is WCAX news interview. So I got a call from, I'm gonna mess up his name, Alec. It's a weird last name. Anyway, I got a call from WCAX 5 news person, and he says, listen, we hear that you already approved battery storage units. I said, no. I said, we've not approved. I said, we've been having a lot of information sharing on battery storage units. They said, well, we hear this one's gonna go right next to a lake. I said, what? And I said, what are you talking about? He said, well, we're understanding that, these systems aren't safe and, and they pollute and everything else. And yours is right next to a lake which has homes around it. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I said, this is next to a NYSEG substation on the outside of town that sits on a piece of property we own of 7.2 acres, and the only thing around it is a sand flat. He goes, I have no idea what you're talking about. I said, I figured that. So I said, why don't you take a trip up and I'll show it to you. So he came up and he looked at the site and goes, wow, it is out of the way. I said, yes, it is out of the way. So we had a little interview about, how do you feel about it? I said, well, we're still in our infancy stages. We're getting all we can on pros and cons of the BEST project. I know there's a lot of them throughout the entire country. I know that there's a number of townships that have just put a moratorium on doing a 1-year research on them. I said, but as far as we're concerned, we're probably a couple, 3 years away from any type of implementation. The only thing we've had done at our site is APA has looked at it and basically said, okay, I think you're gonna be good. Yeah, you got some wetlands in the back, but we don't think it's a big deal that's gonna impede anything to do with the battery storage units. And then I said, and the other thing I said, I wanna tell you is that you see how this, and it was windy that day, I mean, it was really bad. I said, you see how this wind blows? I said, that's a normal prevailing wind. I said, if one of those units, say, does go into a hot state, the winds how they blow here is not gonna blow any towards any residential area.
Which direction was that? Which direction was that?
It was northwest.
From standing there though, what's northwest would be which
Well,
direction?
so if you're on 374, it'd be right through your face. It'd be coming over the top of the substation, right by your face, heading out or over the sand flat.
Heading
So,
towards Ellenberg.
No.
no,
No, so it's heading towards Cernak.
Yeah.
yeah,
And
more or
then-
less.
More like Dannemora than Saranac.
It'll be pretty much following 374 right now, so it'll be west-northwest wind.
So it's coming to Shady Lake.
It could be close.
It could, I mean,
Yeah, that's my concern.
yeah.
So I'm wondering if that's gonna fall apart because the big general contract in Elmer just died. I wonder, I don't know where they're planning to get their power, but.
Yeah, well, that's one of my questions too, is where is this green energy coming from? Because it's only
It's supposed to
supplied,
tie into the
So-
grid.
the way I understand it, from like Saranac now, that power comes from probably the generation station somewhere on the Saranac River to supply the mountain and or a gas plant somewhere down there. Right? I mean, that's where that power comes from, to that substation.
Yeah, but so from what we've been educated on with Brookfield Renewables, is that it is what you call, it is classified as green energy. So that's why they want it right next to that substation. So it powers up them batteries, and when the batteries get full capacity, they basically shut down. And if the NYSEG decides that there's a need for power, then they'll pull from that battery bank
Yeah, yeah.
to feed the
I got an
substation.
article from the Daily Enterprise in the town of St. Armand, I believe, they just put a moratorium in up there because they want to put one of these in by the, Mount, I don't know, that ski area.
Yeah, so St. Armand and Chesterfield are two of the towns that decided, let's take a 1-year moratorium on it and get more information.
It's a residential area, but I mean, I'm not real familiar with the area, but it was, the way it sounds, I mean, it's close to the hospital, obviously, and close to residents and.
Oh, it was very close to a lot, yeah, there's no
You know,
doubt.
And the fires are a serious thing, It says, well, it's not more dangerous than the house, but generally, you can probably speak to this, a house fire, you can probably extinguish with less than 3 hours. These things will burn for days.
But so the way that the way it's set up is there's these battery storages are in like tractor trailers.
Yeah.
And so the fire is contained within
Contained in
that
one
tractor
unit.
trailer.
Right,
So,
but
and
it's
they have fire
still
suppression,
smoke, so.
they have fire suppression systems inside there to put them out.
But the articles, because there's been, I think, 5 fires since 2023 in New York State, and 3 would be in this one particular company. And noted that they did burn for days before they could put them out, because water is not an option.
Right.
Because it does not put them out, basically they gotta burn themselves out.
Yeah.
That's where the pollution comes from, more so than any house or business that burns, because that, you can't quickly extinguish it. A house, 3-4 hours or less is out, so the hazard of the smoke is down, where this can go on for days. I'm just concerned because of the direction of where the smoke is, gonna go. Because we all know our storms come from the west, which is primarily Lime Mountain. area
Yeah.
in this, for Shazy Lake. I understand we need green energy, we want money, but I don't know, is there numbers that they're throwing at you for any of this stuff? How much they're gonna pay you?
Well, I mean,
So
there,
much an acre is what it was presented.
Yeah,
But they're paying us right now just to do research on it for, what was it, supposed to be a
yeah,
year?
they said it's gonna be, it was at least a 2-year
2 years
research
before they could
period.
even.
Right,
Just
but I
for
mean,
them.
after that, they throw numbers at you?
After that, it starts at, I think it's
So
like,
much per acre.
like 4,000 per acre. Right now, it's 1,000 per acre. Once they start putting a shovel in the ground, it goes to 4,000, and then once they actually put it online, which would probably be another
Yeah,
however many years, then it'll go up from there.
and did they tell you? a
But
number?
that hasn't been negotiated
No.
yet. The future ones haven't been negotiated yet because
They don't
they don't
even
even know if
know
they're gonna do it yet.
Right,
It's
right.
just in the,
Well, I'm just wondering, because they put a ballpark number on some of these up there, because they went to a landowner, a private landowner in that area, and he refused it, because he refused it because of the safety of where it was gonna go.
Yeah, yeah.
And they were gonna offer him $100,000 a year. So that's some pretty serious money that they were offering him for. I think there was 4 that were gonna go in up there, I'm not quite sure of the number, but obviously it's not, there wasn't a lot of them going in there. So there's a lot of money to be had at this. So I'm just letting you know for negotiation, it's right in this, I got the Daily Enterprise, you wanna read it, it's a long article on it, that don't get, snookered on this, for a few thousand, if they're gonna put that many in there, that's probably worth $500,000.
yeah, well, the other thing that's important is that anything we do with Brookfield Renewables, our attorneys will be involved in it too. It's just not the board making the final decision.
Well, no, but I mean,
and they have been, I mean, when we initially got the notification from Brookfield asking that they were interested in that area, pulled Matt in right off, and so he researched where Brookfield was doing other places, and, and he looked at the monetary amount they were offering at the time, and he said that's pretty much the standard for the, is being offered at that time for the research part. And then you negotiate, if they say, yeah, this is an ideal position, then you negotiate for,
right, yeah, for more, but I'm just,
Yeah.
these, obviously, the research stages are not gonna pay you as much, because they just wanna kinda.
yeah, they're just
Put a little
looking.
stamp on it for now, saying, we like this,
But for now though, Frank, I mean, all the board is doing now is just gathering information and getting educated on the process, and then we're watching what's going on in other parts of the state, okay, what's going on here, what's going on there. I don't know, I know the ones that they put a moratorium on, St. Armand and, Chesterfield was not Brookfield, it was another,
Right, just a different company, I got it here, I
yeah,
got it out, but.
it was another outfit.
Yes, and theirs supposedly, they weren't associated with the fires that happened. It was a different company that happened with, and it was older technology, they had said. But it's all something to take in consideration, because regardless, the wind could be blowing the opposite direction that day and hover over the whole thing of Mine Mountain or Chattagay Lake or, Merrill, anywhere,
But to your point, I'll say this, and I even said it to the WCAX person, and I had a lady write me an email today that was not very pretty, and I sent her the same thing. I said, if you have so much concern about battery storage units, I said, it's basically lithium ion technology, right? I said, do you have any concern with the amount of buses that are fully electric that are in New York City? That are lithium ion technology, and there is no medium today that puts them out, so if that bus burns,
It's gonna burn until it goes out.
if that bus burns and then it goes up in these apartment buildings, I said, do you have any concern about that? I said, how about all the electric cars that are on the road that are lithium ion batteries? Do you have any concern about the pollution that's gonna create those electric batteries? I said, how about the New York State has now said that every school system will have an electric school bus based on lithium ion technology. Does that seem to bother you at all?
Bothers me.
Right?
No shit.
Not only on the environmental part of it, but I mean, safety-wise, there's a lot, we can go down, talk about that for hours if you want, but what the thing you gotta focus on is that there's renewable energies, it's everywhere, and in turn, you're right, what you're saying. The people, they don't wanna hear, but they don't care about this part of it.
Exactly.
They get their Tesla and they drive away, don't hurt my Tesla. But in turn, we've had a couple fires around here, not that long ago, car fire somewhere, and it burned and burned and burned. Well, it's electric one. School buses over in Vermont burned 4
4 of
them. you know?
And they couldn't put them out.
And I listen to Vermont News a lot,
It's
and that
babysitter.
particular school, those buses were not allowed inside the garage because the manufacturer told them that there's a fire risk for those buses. They're not allowed to go inside to be charged, they had to sit outside, and they ended up burning.
Yeah. So to your point, we have a large group of people are saying these battery storage units are bad, but we don't wanna talk about all the other lithium ion technologies out there in our streets today.
Because everything else makes it
Same
like
thing, you're
easier.
charging your cordless tool battery, leaving it on overnight, I mean, that could be a hazard, it could overheat, catch
Yeah.
fire. You know,
And you have to
that's a
dispose
smaller
of it
scale,
a
but
certain
good.
way, because people throw in a dumpster and 2 hours later it catches a dumpster on fire. So
Your
it's
cell phone
just-
catches
They
on
burn,
fire.
they
Yeah.
burn and burn and burn and burn.
Your laptop, your cell phone.
So anyway, just based on that conversation, we are quite a ways away from any type of groundbreaking, any type of approval.
Right.
Because I'll tell you, we're gonna be very user-friendly with information. When this stuff starts to come in, there'll be public comment sessions, we'll get our community involved, we'll weigh the pros, we'll weigh the cons, and, you know, we're gonna make a rational decision that's to say, is this a good decision for this town? So,
And if you wanna look at and get more information on them, Brookfield is the name of, if you go find them on the web, they have a whole bunch of information there, pages and pages and pages.
I read
Some
that
light
the other
reading.
day, it was probably if you were taking the paper, it was probably like a whole page of the paper that they went through, you know, the public comment part of it, you know, they
Yeah.
talked about what was going on there, and people, pros and cons, and, you know, and I thought, and then, of course, I see you on the internet last night, or night before, you know, with the CAX thing, you know.
yeah, I didn't see it yet, so.
I read it more than I watched it, you know, but and I know they talked about that here before, you know, and it was spot on with what was going up there, people, yes, some want it, some don't, there's fires, you know what I mean, there's revenue, there's, you know, it's, that we just talked about, you know, but you're right, and it should be to the public with more information on this.
Oh, no doubt.
Because it's a brand new toy, basically, you know, and everybody should get, you know, all the information they can about it, because someday you may have to deal with that, whatever, you know, the benefits of it or the disasters of it.
No doubt, no doubt at all. Okay, good conversation. I had a Teams meeting with BCA. BCA did an I&I study for us. Oh God, Debbie, how long ago? A year ago?
Yeah, 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's when Debbie was our supervisor, and they had identified a lot of our.
Yeah, BCA is the name of the engineering company, and I&I is infiltration and
Inflow.
flow. It's basically, they did a